Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 3, entitled Rishabhadev's Appearance in the Womb of Meru Devi, the wife of King Nabhi. Kinchayam Rajarshirapatya Kama Prajam Bhavadrishim Ashasana Ishwaram Ashisham Swarga Pavargayorapi Bhavantam Upadhavati Prajayamarta Pratyayo Dhanadham Iva Dhana Phalikaranam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Translation. Dear Lord, here is the great King Nabhi, whose ultimate goal in life is to have a son like you. Your Lordship, his position is like that of a person approaching a very rich man and begging for a little grain. Maharaj Nabhi is so desirous of having a son that he is worshipping you for a son. Although you can offer him any exalted position, including elevation to the heavenly planets or liberation back to Godhead. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Shri Prabhupada. The priests were a little ashamed that King Nabhi was performing a great sacrifice just to ask the Lord's benediction for a son. The Lord could offer him promotion to the heavenly planets or the Vaikuntha planets. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taught us how to approach the Supreme Lord and ask Him for the ultimate benediction. He said, Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim kavitam va jagadisha kamaye. He did not want to ask the Supreme Lord for anything material. Material opulence means riches, a nice family, a good wife, and many followers. But an intelligent devotee doesn't ask the Supreme Lord for anything material. His only prayer is Mama Janmani Janmanishware Bhavatad Bhakti Rahetuki Tvai. He wants to be engaged perpetually in the loving service of the Lord. He does not want promotion to the heavenly planets or mukti, liberation from material bondage. If this were the case, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would not have said, Mama Janmani Janmani. It doesn't matter to a devotee whether or not he takes birth life after life, as long as he remains a devotee. Actually, eternal liberty means returning home back to Godhead. A devotee is never concerned about anything material. Although Nabhi Maharaj wanted a son like Vishnu, wanting a son like God is also a form of sense gratification. A pure devotee wants only to engage in the Lord's loving service. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport.
So we are reading in this chapter the priests in the sacrificial arena of King Nabhi offering prayers to Lord Vishnu, who has made his personal presence there. And these priests are, in their prayers, have been bringing up very wonderful concepts and topics of pure devotional service. And in today's verse also, they are addressing the Lord and talking about very important principles of devotion, pure devotional service. Prabhupada mentions in the purport, the priests were a little ashamed. This is what was in their heart. They were ashamed. Kinchayam rajarshir apatya kamaha. Apatya, offspring, children. Apatya kamaha. Our great king, he is Rajarishi, but he is Apatyakama. He has a desire to have a son. Prajam Bhavadrishim, and he wants a son like you. Bhavat idrishim, bhavadrishim. Ashasana, that is his desire. And he has approached you, O Lord, Ishwaram, Ishvara. And who are you? Ashisham Svargapavargayorapi. You are somebody who can give Svarga, Apavarga, liberation. You are that Lord. But he has approached you for Apatyakamaha. Bhavantam Upadhavati. And he is worshipping you. Organize this big sacrifice. Prajayam Artha Pratyayaha. For him to get a son is the highest achievement in life. Artha Pratyayaha. Regarding as the ultimate goal of life. So we think this is like dhanadham. Dhana means wealth. Dam means to give away. Like we say, bhakti dha. Tulsi Maharani is one who can give bhakti. So dhanadham. So a rich man who can give dhanadha, dayati. Who can give dhana. Iva adhanaha, a poor man who has no dhana. Adhanaha. Palikaranam. So adhanam, adhanaha, dhanadam, palikaranam iva. So a poor man has gone to a rich man who can give anything. And he is asking him, palikaranam, please give some husk. Husk has no value. So, this is the prayer of the priests. Dear Lord, here is the great king, Nabhi, Rajarshihi, whose ultimate goal in life, Artha Pratyayaha, is to have a son, Apatyakamaha, Bhavadrushim, a son like you. Your Lordship, his position is like that of a person approaching a very rich man, dhanadham, and begging for a little grain, palikaranam iva. Maharaj Nabhi is so desirous of having a son, apatyakamaha, that he is worshipping you. Bhavantam upadhavati, for a son, prajayam, artha pratyayaha, bhavantam upadhavati. Although you can offer him any exalted position, including elevation to the heavenly planets, Swarga, or liberation, Apavarga, liberation back to Godhead. So, Srimad Bhagavatam is setting a very high standard. He's teaching a very high standard of devotional service, which is very rare. Generally, people approach God, people take to religion, some kind of religiosity, with an aim to get some material benefit. We see that happening in our country. There are people who go, they start a business, and then they pray to God and they go to a temple. My business should expand. I should become successful in my business. Sometimes people go to some temple or some worship to get a son, to get a child. Sometimes They do some ratha to get married, to get a good wife, to get a good son, good husband. So this is very common in the human society. In fact, there is, in our country, we have heard there is one temple. You go and pray, you will get US visa also. So, dhanam dehi, yashas dehi, US visa dehi. So this is the common man's conception of religion. In fact, many Hindus who have become converted into Christianity, they also have one church in Bangalore. For all their problems, they go to that church. So the idea is, the common factor in all this is, I have some material desires, and to fulfill that desires, I need the blessings of God. But the principle of pure devotional service, as taught by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is anyabhilashita shunyam. To have no desire of our own except to please Krishna. Because by our constitution, by our construction, by the intent of our creation, we are meant for pleasing Krishna and serving Krishna. But willingness to accept this is important. That is why Srila Prabhupada has quoted, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taught us how to offer a prayer. And he has quoted the famous Shikshashtakam verse, Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadisha kamaye. Kavitam means poetry. Vedic literatures are full of beautiful poetry which is describing fruitive activities. Dhanam, janam, sundarim, and mukti. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadisha kamaye. I am not desiring any of these, na kamaye. Mama janmani janmanishware bhavatat bhakti rahetu kitvayi. Life after life, which means not even liberation. I just want to engage perpetually in the loving service of the Lord. This is the highest level of devotional prayer that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching. And Prabhupada often gave this example. If you go and ask Krishna, give me this, give me that, material things, it is like going and asking a dhanadham, a rich man who is very charitably disposed. He is not only dhani, he is not a dhani, dhanadham, he wants to give. And a poor man, adhanaha, he goes and he asks, Phalikaranam iva, please give me some husk. Prabhupada also gave some examples. Please give me some ashes from your house. So this is not considered very intelligent. When that man is so rich and he can give so many things, we go and ask for something very insignificant. So, the principle of Chatushpurushartha is this. You practice some religiosity, dharma. With that you will get artha. And with artha, economic development, you will get kama, fulfillment of your desires. And when your desires are fulfilled, gradually you can even plan to get mukti, freedom from all material problems. This is dharma, artha, kama, moksha is considered purushartha. Purusha, human beings, and artha, intent, the purpose of our life is these things. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaches differently. In fact, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu describes this in Kashi, he says, when I met my spiritual master, Ishwarapuri, in Gaya, he told me this instruction. Krishna Vishayika Prema Parama Purushartha. To develop love for Krishna, Krishna Vishayika Prema Parama Purushartha. This is the highest Purushartha. Yara Age Trunatulya Chari Purushartha. In front of this Krishna Vishayika Prema, the Chari Purushartha, the four Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, Yara Age Trunatulya. They are like insignificant grass, straw in the street. See the same principle? Phalikaranam iva, like husk. So the Bhagavata's principle, Ishwarapuri taught Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu composed his Shikshashtakam, na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadisha kamayi. And coming in the parampara of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada taught us that this is not what we should be asking. We were all mostly born in Hindu families, practically all of us. We were all taught from young age. Our parents took us to temples, holy places. And we would ask, please give us this, give us that. Pass in exam or something like that mostly. That was what we were worried about. But Srila Prabhupada has taught none of these things are important. These are all not important things. And Prabhupada taught Krishna Vishaya. This is what Ishwarapuri has taught. Krishna Vishayika Prema. Krishna Vishaya. Our life should be absorbed in Krishna Vishaya. Our living, our activities, everything, our goal of life, nothing but Krishna Vishaya. We want to please Krishna. We want to develop devotion to Krishna. We want to understand Krishna. We want to read Krishna's teachings. We want to remember Krishna's Leela. We want to tell others about Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada created an institution for Krishna Vishaya. Prabhupada mentioned there are so many institutions in the world dedicated for this cause, that cause, for expanding business, for taking care of environment, for taking care of poor people. So many institutions are there. This institution is for Krishna Vishaya. We are so fortunate. In 1971, Srila Prabhupada wrote to one of the GBCs. He had just formed the GBC a few months ago. And he wrote in a letter, not a moment we should stop thinking of ISKCON. See, Prabhupada gave so much importance to the institution that we should always be thinking about ISKCON, how its welfare, how it is expanding, how it is strong, how it is pure. This is my instruction to all of you. It's not that Prabhupada was writing only to one devotee, telling him alone. Prabhupada said, this is my instruction to all of you. This is Guru Mukha Padma Vakya. In our culture, Guru's words have to be taken seriously, it is said. But when you get a pure devotee as a Guru, which is very rare, every word you should take it into your heart. This is what the Acharyas are saying. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chittete Koriya Aikya. So we should feel this institution is Krishna Vishaya institution. See, I remember when you go abroad and when you come back from abroad, there is a form you fill. It says permanent address. And every time I used to write ISKCON, Hare Krishna, I used to feel, so, this is my permanent home. Isn't it? Like when we go in the auto, I used to remember long ago when I was young devotee. And then we would tell in the auto driver, now let's go home. Where is our home? ISKCON. Our temple is our home. It feels so good coming back to Krishna's home, Krishna's abode, and that's my home. So that is Krishna Vishaya. We should feel happy to be in the house of Krishna and Prabhupada. So, our mind should be absorbed in Krishna Vishaya. Krishna Vishayika Prema Parama Purushartha. This is the highest goal of life. Higher than Chari Purushartha. So, like this, I was recently preaching to somebody that why we say Krishna, Krishna Vishaya? Because Krishna is the source of everything. Janmadyasya yataha aham sarvasya prabhavo mattha sarvam pravartate. So I was telling this to an intelligent person. Krishna is the source of everything. And then he asked me, oh, if Krishna is the source of everything, is Krishna the source of the intelligence in a criminal's mind? So if a criminal is getting some idea that I should commit some crime, Krishna is the source of that also. Is the source of everything you are saying? I said, yes, Krishna is the source of everything. Krishna gives the intelligence to a criminal also. Because the living entity wants to commit that crime. When the living entity is so much desirous of committing the crime, Krishna will provide all arrangements. So, how can Krishna allow that? That is why we must understand Krishna's position. What is Krishna's position? Krishna explains in the 9th chapter. Creation, destruction, all this is happening again and again. And I am situated udasinavat asinaha. I am situated indifferent to it. So much of creation, destruction, this is continuously happening. So much death is happening. Not only human death, we get so many around us, so many little insects and bugs and birds and animals, all dying. Rebirth is happening. Udasinavat asinaha. Not only the Lord is like that. You see, this is Krishna's characteristic. In 9th chapter, Krishna is describing his characteristics and he is saying, Udasinavat asinaha. And later on, in the 14th chapter, Krishna is describing modes of material nature and somebody who is above the modes of material nature, transcendentally situated. When Krishna is describing the characteristics of a person who is transcendentally situated, he uses the same expression, Udasinavat asinaha. See, an advanced transcendental is also udasinavat asinaha. That is why first instruction of the Lord to Arjuna is Ashocyan anvashochastvam pragnavadamscha bhashase gatasu na gatasumscha nanushochanti pandita. It is like this. It is the body is a garment to the child, to the soul. Just like, for example, there is a mother and father. The father they are very rich people, and their business is making garments, stitching shirts, and in our country they export huge quantity of shirts. Millions of shirts are made in their factory, and every time they have two sons, two small children. Every time the wife goes, she picks up 20 shirts for this boy, 20 shirts. So much shirt is there, right, in the house. Very rich. And these two boys, sometimes they fight with each other, quarrel, like small boys. And the mother has told, okay, you can fight, but don't harm each other. If you want, you can harm your shirt. And the two boys fight with each other, tear each other's shirt. The mother comes, puts the shirt aside, gives them new shirt. It's okay. She's udasinavat asinaha. Because the children are not hurt. Only the shirt was hurt. It's okay. Udasinavat asinaha. So this is the idea. The body is hurt. That's okay. Soul is unscathed, untouched by anything. You drop an atom bomb on the soul, also nothing will have. Soul will remain as soul. Avikaryoyam achintyoyam. This is the nature of the soul. It is untouched by material energy. Krishna has created this platform of material energy to give the living entity different kinds of experiences. And Krishna's intent is that the living entity learns this lesson. I am not supposed to be here. I am part and parcel of Krishna. I am meant to serve Krishna. I am having so many other desires. Because of those desires, I am here in this material world, experiencing all these threefold miseries. I am meant to serve Krishna. I should give up these desires. We chanted Narsimha's prayers. Karmashaya randaya randaya tamo grasa grasa. Karmashaya. Karma ashaya means desires for fruitive activities. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very carefully taking these instructions from the Bhagavatam says karma ashaha is one of the biggest contaminations of the living entity. Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karma dhyanavrutam. Karma is another contamination. Karma ashaya. So this desire for fruitive activities, I want this, I want this. So because of that, we take on different material bodies, and the material bodies goes through so many different kinds of experiences in this world, and creation, destructions are happening, and Krishna is udasinavat asinaha. Of course, Krishna is concerned that the living entities are suffering. So he comes, he sends his representatives, he sends his Shastra. But at another level, this creation, destruction is going on. So this is the position of the Lord. We have to understand the Lord's position. We have to understand our position, our contaminated position, our pure position. In our pure position, transcendental position, the Lord, living entity is udasinavat asinaha. Is indifferent to all these ups and downs, goes ups and things happen in this world. So this is the important message of the Vedic literatures, that we should not desire these material things, and that is why the priests are feeling very ashamed that we did this elaborate sacrifice with so much arrangement, with so much bhakti, and Lord, you yourself have appeared, and look at our situation. This king wants a son like you. And you have come here, you can give. Svarga apavargayor ashishaha. What blessings, Svarga, Apavarga, all blessings you can give. But we have done this for getting a son for our king. They are feeling ashamed. So that shows they are conscious of pure devotional principles. So, Krishna Vishayika Prema. Krishna Vishaya. So many times people ask, why you say Krishna, Krishna, Krishna? I remember once there was one intelligent boy, very intelligent, IIT, and was doing his doctoral in an American university. But he was a strong Shaivite, but a very respectful person. So one day I preached to him about Bhagavad Gita, from the Bhagavad Gita, worship of Devatas. I got to know him. Not in the very first time. I knew he'll get offended. So after a few meetings, I preached to him. Still, he was very respectful. He was very hearing. And then another occasion, I told him about absolute truth, Janmadyasya yataha, everything coming from one truth. And that truth is all attractive. And he's a person, he's Krishna. Explained all those things. So after hearing, he said, Prabhu, yes, everything is coming. And why can't that source be two? For him it is Krishna and Shiva. So he asked, why can't it be two? So I said, no, Chandogya Upanishad says, Ekam eva dvitiyam brahma. There is one and not two. Ekam eva advitiyam brahma. And that source of everything, that Brahma is one. So he was a little sad and unhappy a little bit, but he was still very respectful. So like this, the original truth is Krishna. Recently I was talking to another person. He's a CEO of a company, of an organization. And you know how CEOs, we should work in a collaborative way and succeed or take up. This is their thinking. So when I was explaining that there is one from whom everything is coming, so he asked me, why Prabhu only one? Why can't it be collaborative? Some idea of collaboration. See how these people are, ideas of this material they want to import. Why not collaborative? I said, yes, it is collaborative also in one sense, that one expands into many, and there are many Vishnus, and all these Vishnus in a collaborative way run the material world. But ultimately they are all coming from one. And not only among the Vishnus, there are many Devatas, and all through the Devatas in a very collaborative way the material world is running. But ultimately there is one Supreme. So, that one supreme source from which everything is coming, everything is happening. And we are all related to that source. We are his part and parcel. And we have a relationship with him because he is a person. And the Shastras describe each one of us have an intimate relation with him. Not just an ordinary relationship. Just like we'll be in some house, there'll be a neighbor in another house. We know him, but we don't know him so well. But our own family members, we are more intimately connected. Not like that, not some distant. So we are intimately connected to Krishna. Each one of the living entities. This is the infiniteness of Krishna. He has relationship, intimate relationship with countless living entities. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, we say. Imagine, Ananta Koti. Koti itself is so big. In the spiritual world, it is Ananta Koti Vaishnava. So that is why we have to learn here how to live harmoniously with devotee. This is the training. That's another important training Prabhupada institution teaches us. We have to learn how to be happy, cooperating, understanding each other. Because we have one goal. We want to please Guru, Gauranga and Krishna. So this is the training. This is such a wonderful opportunity Prabhupada has taught. So some difficulties come. We should not think, no, I'll go away. Prabhupada would shed tears when somebody was leaving ISKCON. This would hurt Prabhupada. Prabhupada would tell, there was one Mataji who had done so much service to Prabhupada. And so one day she was leaving. Prabhupada shed tears and he said, there is no philosophy in the whole world like Bhagavad Gita. Please don't go. This is the best philosophy. This is the best understanding of life. Don't go away. Like this, Prabhupada would feel for every devotee. So we should remember these instructions of Prabhupada. So whatever difficulties, whatever challenges we have, because this is a transcendental purpose. Krishna, who is the source of everything, source of me, with whom I have an intimate relationship. This institution, this life, gives an opportunity for us to dedicate our life for serving this cause of the Supreme Lord. So these are very, very significant things. And in the time that we have in our human life, we must purify ourselves as much as possible. Of course, Prabhupada's blessing is there. We can purify ourselves fully. Or at least as much as possible. Because pure devotional service is very elevated, very exalted, very rare. So with this kind of an intent, with this kind of a purpose, and that should not be a feeble desire. That should be the burning desire in our heart. And then if that intent is there, any amount of difficulties come, we will face it. And Srila Prabhupada wants us to do that. We'll stop here. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.